to Aaron to cover the agenda. Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Michael. Yep, and yeah, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Aaron Williams. I'm a Regional Development Manager at Cadent. I'm one of the leads on the Hydrogen Valley Consortium. Yeah, as Michael said, really great agenda this afternoon, with some really good updates from our members covering kind of the span of the hydrogen economy. Go to the next slide, please, Michael. Yes, so this is the current member list that we've got in the Hydrogen Valley Consortium. So I'd just like to extend a welcome to some of our new members. So we've got Northern Valve and Fitting Company. They're supporting the hydrogen sector with fluid system components and solutions. To Schwank, a manufacturer of high efficiency radiant heating solutions for industrial and commercial buildings. And they've manufactured a 100% hydrogen fueled radiant heating system. So really great to see some of those innovations starting to come through. And finally to Michelmersh, so they're one of the major brick producers in the UK, with a site in the Hydrogen Valley region at Telford. And they can lay claim to having produced the world's first hydrogen-fired clay brick. And thanks to those organisations for joining. Go to the next slide. So yeah, just a really high-level recap or update on hydrogen development since the last meeting. Quite a short one compared to previous consortium updates. I normally would have several slides on what's been happening, but for those of you who are keeping track, yeah, it has been quite slow. We're waiting on the hydrogen strategy refresh to come through, and with that, we're expecting the next round of real tangible updates. We'd hope to see an update on the final projects for HAR2, further details about the HAR3 round allocation process. Sorry, my mic is disconnected. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you,
brilliant.
Aaron.
Sorry about that. And also on the hydrogen transport business model. So we have been, well, we're expecting that hydrogen transport business model first allocation round to open in spring, but we still need kind of real clarity on exact timelines and the details surrounding it. Although obviously conversations have been ongoing with DESNZ in the background. By way of a brief update on some of the other hydrogen projects which Cadent is involved with. So for HyNet, or the HyNet Northwest Hydrogen Pipeline, as it's now known, as you might imagine, a lot of the work is ongoing to bid into that first hydrogen transport business model round. So really just finalizing a lot of the designs off the back of the public consultations that have previously taken place. And just a final note to say that the East Coast Hydrogen Project has now commenced FEED, so that's following the funding it received in the summer of last year, and that has now been awarded to Worley to commence that. Okay, so that is it for my brief updates.
Great. Thanks, Aaron. I will just bring in Amy, who works with me on the Secretariat team delivering the Hydrogen Valley programme, to provide a brief communications update from the state of the Hydrogen Valley programme.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, as Michael mentioned, I'm Amy, so I'm part of the comms team at Talon. I support on the marketing and comms work for the Hydrogen Valley programme. So as Aaron mentioned, it's been fantastic to see the growing membership of the programme. It's been really brilliant to sort of see so many people engaged and open to collaborate in these meetings. I know we've previously had some really good breakout sessions, so looking forward to those later. So as you can see, we upload all of our members onto our website, which kind of showcases the breadth of members that we have in the consortium. And we also use our platform to share updates on the hydrogen space, blogs, and member news. So I think that's probably the most important thing to emphasise. If you do have any exciting news in the hydrogen space, please do reach out and let us know. We really want to promote your projects and any work that you're doing. So do just drop us an email if you have any updates, and we can share it on our website or on our LinkedIn page. So yeah, it's been great to see the growth of the LinkedIn page since we started it in October 2024. As you can see there, we've got 713 followers, which is almost a 25% increase from our last meeting. So there's been some really good growth and momentum there. And you can see some of the examples of things that we post about there. So we've recently done a regional campaign looking at projects in different regions. So yes, please do engage, tag, share your news with us so we can then share it with our network. So I'll pop a link to our LinkedIn page in the chat so you can follow along.
Great. Thank you very much, Amy. Great to hear, how thriving the Hydrogen Valley program and how more people are being engaged. It's always great to see across the program region. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to slightly flip around our agenda slightly because the next session on our agenda was the breakout sessions. However, I'm going to pass on to Mark first from Keele University, as I believe he has to skip out of the meeting early. So we'll pass on to Mark to quickly provide an update on the HyDEX project led by Keele University, and then we'll go straight into the breakout sessions after Mark. So take it away, Mark.
So my slides are uploaded. Are they just checking?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Okay.
Just let me know when you want to move them across, and I'll do that for you.
Next slide, please. So yeah, so I was asked by Michael to give a quick update on the work that we've been doing at Keele around our recently launched green hydrogen generation hub. This is originally, I mean, we've been working with hydrogen, including with Kedent on the HyDEPloy project some years ago, and then I think, as colleagues know, we've got our own renewable energy generation park at Keele, both solar and wind, and a large battery, and then got then the smart energy network demonstrator, which is effectively a smart grid, and then we got funding from UKRI Research England Development Fund for the HyDEX project, which is really around accelerating the hydrogen economy in the Midlands, development, knowledge exchange, partnership with other Midlands innovation universities, so Loughborough, Nottingham, Birmingham, Aston, Leicester. Oops, slides have gone from my screen.
Apologies. Let me just fix that. I'm not sure. Apologies for that. Let me just move back on. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Mark.
So I think no problem. I think the next 3 slides I can skip through really quickly because I think everyone on this call, we recently gave a presentation to the whole university, and they were probably not quite as well versed in hydrogen and clean energy as that. So I think Michael, if you skip through this slide, the one after this, and the one after that, and then go on to the next one. So very much the ultimate aim was to be able to demonstrate around green hydrogen. Again, I think everyone here will know what green hydrogen is. Obviously, producing the hydrogen from renewably generated electricity. In our case, it then goes through the smart energy network demonstrator to an electrolyzer that we have on campus, and then the ability then to electrolyze water to produce green hydrogen. Okay, next slide, please. So it was a project funded by Research England with some demonstration of some elements of it at a number of universities, but led by Keele with 5 million of external funding from Research England, very much around demonstration development and also a significant amount. I'm not going to talk about the skills part of it, but a lot of skills sessions and development sessions and general knowledge exchange. Okay, next slide. So a significant number of industrial partners on the project, covering different areas. So obviously skills, which you mentioned, manufacturing, transport, and heating. There's sort of 7 or 8 university partners, and generally a project that's worked very well in terms of that engagement. I mean, I wasn't heavily involved in that side of it, but the reports and the events that I went to were really kind of excellent around engagement with the regional and national industry in this area. Okay, next slide. And so I'm going to focus really on the sort of final few slides on the work that we've done at Keele. It's quite a long journey. We've been on this journey for quite a time around the being able to demonstrate hydrogen production, hydrogen storage, and the use of hydrogen, and then not only that being a demonstrator, but being a research facility. And the first kind of thing was to be able to actually generate the hydrogen and store green hydrogen on site, and then subsequently to be able to then use that in real applications. Again, I think everyone here will be aware of potential applications for hydrogen around transportation, whether that's domestic use, long distance use like shipping and flights, or off-road use such as kind of JCB developing. Okay, next slide. So the reason we managed to get this project and then be able to run it from Keele is as I mentioned, we have our own campus renewable energy or low carbon energy generation park on the campus, which has got 12,500 solar panels, 2 large wind turbines, and then a large industry battery. And then that links to our smart energy network demonstrator, which uses the whole of the fact we have our private network on the university campus, which is a small town, so 15,000 students, or we say 12,000 students on campus, 2,000 staff, 350 mixed-use buildings, very large, or a large integrated science and innovation park, and so we've felt, and because of the way the university works and the generation that we have the potential to generate green hydrogen at Keele, and so we're able to, through leverage the funding to do this, to then extend through the smart energy network demonstrator to an electrolyzer and start to produce the green hydrogen. So next slide, please. So, and the thing that we've really sort of focused on is using the smart energy network demonstrator to mean that at times, because of the use, we generate an excess of electricity, and that could be used. And this plot just kind of shows an output from that, where we're generating more renewable electricity than we actually need as a university, and obviously we can do it at other times as well. But there is an excess. This is including export to the grid. Excess electricity, and be able to use that excess electricity. So that's where a lot of the research is focused on the moment, and that kind of ability to control and use that excess electricity generation that's coming from wind and or solar, depending on the weather conditions. Okay, next slide. And so on the campus, we've installed an electrolyzer. It's a fuel cell systems electrolyzer, so it's an anion exchange membrane, electrolyzer. And so I've got 3 slides in succession. So we can produce, they're not huge quantities of hydrogen, but we through, it's a modular construction, can produce 10 kilograms of hydrogen per day. Next slide. And then we can store up to 100 kilograms of hydrogen. And then next slide. And then we have, so we've got production through the electrolyzer, storage ability, and then the refueling ability. The site now looks rather nice, and I just haven't updated the photograph. So we formally launched it in early January. Had Baroness Berger from House of Lords, who's the former Shadow Minister around energy and climate change, came to open it along with quite a lot of external people. So the site now looks better, but these were taken at an earlier stage. So we've got production, storage, and the refueling. The next slide. And so this was the launch, and so the person, the slightly more scientific end, who's took over the leadership of this project, Charlie Crescent's on the left of that photo, and then there's myself, the Vice Chancellor Kevin Shakespeare, and Executive Dean of the faculty, and then Baroness Berger. And one of the things we've been working at Keele for quite a long time and really trying to grow that again is on using the campus and our private network and our commitment to sustainability and low carbon energy is that we can use the campus as a living laboratory, and in this case for the production, storage and use of green hydrogen. We've got 2 cars from Toyota, hydrogen cars, that will now have branded it up. So a full demonstration across the whole chain, from renewable energy generation through to green hydrogen generation to fuel 2 cars that we use on for particularly local journeys and so on, and kind of demonstrate the kind of the power of hydrogen, which green hydrogen made at Keele powering this car. And I think one of the things, not for this talk, but say we're really now developing this as a platform for more detailed research around the kind of smart energy, the hydrogen usage. We've just submitted a paper around this and the potential and the kind of the feasibility for using it in green transport options, including kind of where we are ultimately buses from Newcastle up to Keele. Okay, next slide. And then has the whole project, which now finished in terms of the HyDEX project, although we're still actively following research, doing research and secured other funding streams. We did win the UK Knowledge Exchange Award for the best place-based knowledge exchange initiative for the HyDEX project, and the whole concept of producing, storing, using green hydrogen, but the wider also skills and knowledge exchange around the project. Okay, next slide. And so I think this is just, I think I've got 1 or 2 slides left. This is very much the where we've got to, that we are trying to generate a real hydrogen research centre around smart energy, hydrogen, renewable energy generation, and energy storage as well as around advanced technology and materials. And so developing a centre around this and using hydrogen to produce sustainable fuels, or ammonia for certain things, or and so we've got smaller scale research than this large demonstrator facilities taking place in research laboratories on campus. So really kind of exciting new centre for Keele around advanced materials engineering, that hydrogen is part of that, but there's obviously a lot of other elements of that. Okay, next slide. And so where we're looking for now is very much around building doctoral training around this, summer schools, working with industry, and generating, really contributing. We've just become a member of the European Hydrogen Academy. It's very much around hydrogen technologies in industry, or hydrogen education around hydrogen technologies, which is a really good project. We just launched engineering at Keele as an undergraduate discipline, which itself is very exciting. We've got the demonstrator at Keele, the Green Hydrogen Generation Hub, or GH2, and then starting to really say, I just mentioned one of those networks, the HyDEX Hydrogen Academy, which is an educational hydrogen technologies network. And then final slide. So there's been a lot of people involved in this. It was a big capital project for the university. So some of colleagues on there are colleagues in estates and engineering, building management systems, so on, as well as colleagues in School of Chemical Physical Sciences like Charlie, Peter Matthews, Raphael Hershey, and so really kind of multi cross-institutional project across the academic staff and professional services, particularly kind of people in estates, but indeed in procurement as well. And then ERA, the Energy Research Accelerator, which is part of Midlands Innovation, partnership with other universities, and where there's been other demonstrator projects or other key bits of the HyDEX project. So that's all I've got to say. I'm obviously happy to kind of take any questions, or if any colleagues on the call want to make any sort of further inquiries, I'll learn more if they kind of send stuff to me, and then I'll kind of link with people like Charlie and Ash Hume about that. But I hope that was a kind of use and interest to members of the consortium on the call.
Great. Thank you very much, Mark. Really interesting project happening over at Keele University. I don't see any questions in the chat yet. However, this isn't your only chance to ask questions. We'll have a Q&A. Oh, Aaron's got a question. There we go, Aaron. Kick us off.
They just have one question, actually. Yeah. So, no, I think that was really interesting. So that demonstrator project that you've got set up, it might be too early to tell, but do you think that's something that could be replicable? Like, could it be economically feasible? I'm thinking where you might have a large industry that has, I don't know, a really large set of solar panels, etc. Could they look to do something similar? Like, do you think that could be economic in the future?
Yeah, I mean, some of the research that we'll do will be around the cost and economics, because I think there's obviously a lot of discussion around that. We are starting to work with Lycidian around obviously the ceramic industry is an industry with highly energy intensive industry, and so some of the, although I kind of talked about transport applications there, that there's also obviously a lot of potential scope around those energy intensive industries that use a lot of heat, and so we're looking at being able to use hydrogen fired kilns for ceramic firing, and so that then becomes a different sort of materials project really, but the concept of using hydrogen in that. We've also recently done a collaborative project with another, I can't really say too much about it, with a big kind of logistics organisation in Staffordshire around the ability to use have a lot of solar on their roofs, and then the ability to generate hydrogen and the feasibility or possible applications for that in that context. So yes, is the answer. Yep. in that sense, and I think that in a way, if you go back to the original concept of the project, we are doing some really exciting research now around that, but part of it was also about that establishing a demonstrator and knowledge exchange so that this practice could be more widely adopted and taken forward by other organisations, and just to show the feasibility of it. But there will inevitably be economic elements, aspects to this as well.
Thanks, Mark.
Great. Sean, did you want to come in quickly with a question? I think we've probably got time for one more before we move on to the breakout sessions.
Yeah, thank you. It's just really a question around the generating of the hydrogen in the first place. And I just wonder, is there more potential for improving the efficiency of generating, the electrolysis process?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think again that's why we've managed to secure a really good agreement with Fuel Cell Systems Limited, who produce the electrolyzer, and it is a test site, and it's actually my own background is as a materials chemist. That there is scope there, and that's a key research area. Whatever type of electrolyzer, there's kind of probably 3 kind of front runners around types of electrolyzers, and one of the key things is around increasing the efficiency, and 2 lowering the cost of them, and so the nature of the agreement is that they can use the facility to test out improvements and to bring improvements on to that. So and realistically, we have to improve the efficiency and the costs reduced for it to become a commercially viable proposition, not just at Keele but anywhere.
Thank you.
Great. Sounds good. So what I will do now is I'm going to move everyone into some breakout rooms. I'll just what I'll do is we've got some questions, some prompt questions. Essentially, you'll be in a room with loads of different organisations that are members of the consortium on this call today across the hydrogen value chain. So it provides an opportunity to discuss, exploring hydrogen projects, R&D. What would you like to see from the strategy refresh, etc. I'm going to broadcast these to all the rooms, so you don't have to memorize these questions now. But what I will do is I'll open the questions and we'll come back at about 1:45. So I will open these rooms now. Great. Thanks very much, everyone. I wasn't in any of the breakout rooms, but I'm sure you all had very productive discussions. I know my colleagues Aaron and Amy were distributed across the rooms as well. So without further ado, what I will do is I will go straight to Alistair from GeoPura to talk about the HyMarnham Power Project. Alistair, are you there?
Yeah, I absolutely am. Yes, I'm just waiting on you to pull up some slides, if that's possible.
Great. I think I'm sharing my screen. Can people share my screen? If not, I'll try again.
I can see.
We can see your slides.
Alistair, can you see those at all?
I can see one which isn't one of mine, but if you want to move on one, perhaps mine will come up.
Sure. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So, yeah, my name is Alistair Gemmell. I'm the Chief Business Development Officer for a company called GeoPura, and I'm here today to talk to you about HyMarnham Power Limited, which is a joint venture between ourselves, GeoPura, and the JG Pairs Group. It's a 50-50 joint venture. Thank you very much. Move on. Next slide. Yeah, so it's an investment in green hydrogen production. We were successful in the HAR1 round of the government's funding program. So there were, I think, originally about 90 expressions of interest, perhaps 40 or so people actually put forward proposals. I think there was a long list of about 25, and finally we got down to 11 contracts were actually awarded. We were one of those, and yeah, it's a 14 megawatt electrolyzer facility, and it will produce the site as a whole is enormous and has tremendous capability, as it says there. Next slide. So a little bit of background and where we've got to with the project. So GeoPura, first of all, and I'll explain about this a little bit more in a moment, already had a 1 megawatt production facility at a place in Doncaster. So that was producing a couple of thousand kilograms a week. We are in a business where we are the user of hydrogen. That's our prime business, and I'll explain what that is a few slides on. But basically, other people were not building plants as fast as we had anticipated in our business model, so a lack of offtake opportunities meant that our business model was being constrained. We couldn't deliver as many of our own products as we wanted to, and therefore we decided to make our own green hydrogen to a greater extent than would otherwise have been possible. And therefore we made the decision to develop HyMarnham. HyMarnham with an HY is a bit of a play on the place, which is actually HyMarnham as in HIGH Marnham. So it's a place near Newark in Nottinghamshire, as we'll see in a moment. 50-50 joint venture partner JG Pears, as I say, and there to support us with scale-up plans. So what does it comprise of? We bought 15 electrolyzers from a company called Green Hydrogen Systems. That delivers a 14 megawatt capacity and about 32,500 kilos a week of production. Got HAR1 funding, as I said, which is going to be worth about 200 million over a 15-year period of the contract. GeoPura had full EPC responsibility, so we built the plant. We were responsible for procuring it all, and the power infrastructure was supplied by JG Pears. We are the primary off-taker from it, so we are the ones who are using most of the output, but we do have 2 or 3 other smaller off-takers, and at the moment we have an excess, and therefore we are doing limited third-party sales to other projects and companies. If you're interested in that, do ask me. Yeah, and where are we? We just passed our low carbon tests with the government in January, and the full commercial operation starts right now, more or less, almost to the day. So maybe in a few days' time we'll declare that, and at some point there'll be a formal opening of the facility, but basically it's all there and fully producing. The company who supplied the electrolyzers, Green Hydrogen Systems, unfortunately went into liquidation in January 25, which caused us a bit of a delay. But like many of these things, it turned out to be a good thing in the end. We managed to acquire some rights to the equipment, some IP, and we've hired about 20 of their people. So we now have offices in Denmark, not only supporting our own equipment, but also other systems that Green Hydrogen Systems supplied around the world. So it's given us a new business stream to work on. And HyMarnham, as we'll see, it's got tremendous capacity to expand, both in terms of its size and its production capacity, but also the potential transport link. So it's right next to the River Trent, which is navigable up to that point, and it has a railhead, a disused railhead, because it's a former coal-fired power station, and they used to bring coal in by train. And then we can talk about pipelines, and our colleagues from Cadent and National Gas are here, and so we're looking at the possibility of connecting ultimately to a pipeline. And we can also potentially expand into all sorts of other e-fuels production, and we've got some of those in an experimental stage at the moment. Next slide, please. These are the 2 partners. I'm going to talk in a bit of depth about GeoPura, but JG Pears, just to touch on it. So they are the owner of a rendering plant. These are principally chicken carcasses, which they're burning in their plant, which legally has to be done. So that counts as green energy. It's biomass. So that, if you can see the photograph there, that's a 25 megawatt, I think, biomass plant. So that, together with solar, is our source of green energy, which we are turning into green hydrogen. Next slide. So a little bit about what GeoPura do. So our real business is not producing green hydrogen. Our real business is the unit that you see right in the center of this slide, the hydrogen power unit. So what this does is it turns green hydrogen back into electricity. And therefore it's typically seen as a combined fuel cell and battery replacement for a diesel generator. Our customers you see over on the right-hand side, construction sites, film and television, festivals, sporting events, EV charging, anywhere where either you're off the grid completely or the grid is not sufficient to support your activities. And you would, in years gone by, be going out to the market and either buying or renting a diesel generator to support your activities. We are proposing that you buy or rent a hydrogen power unit and do so, have the same power generation, but with zero emissions. So not only no carbon, but also no NOx, no particulates, and no noise, because it is a silent process. In order to facilitate that, moving to the left of the slide, we've got involved in hydrogen production ourselves. In the ideal world, we would leave this to other people and we would simply be an off-taker of other people's plants. And we think as we scale, that is indeed what we'll do. But for the moment, we're developing our own hydrogen production and as well as delivering and refueling the hydrogen power units. So we own 55 of those hydrogen power units that you see there. We own about 80 of the delivery and refueling trucks that you see. And as I say, we have 2 hydrogen production facilities. Next slide. Here is a photograph of a hydrogen power unit. This is our Mark 1. It's 250 kilowatts in terms of its battery capacity. It has a 100 kilowatt fuel cell inside it. So it's capable of providing 250 kilowatts backed up by the fuel cell. Zero emissions. Next slide. We're expanding our capabilities. So in the photographs from the left, you see HPU1, both in a static and a transportable mode. In the middle small photograph, you see a smaller 80 kilowatt towable version. This is towable with a normal driving license SUV type vehicle. And then on the right-hand side, a much larger 0.5 megawatt unit. This is 0.5 megawatt of fuel cell. Which can be scaled up to 50 megawatts to provide large amounts of power for things like data centers and the like. So our intention is to increase our fleet from the current 55 into the hundreds, and also to massively increase the amount of hydrogen that we use, green hydrogen. Next slide. And just very briefly, because I'm not trying to sell to anybody, you know, the little icons, those are the industries. So EV charging, construction, film and television, events, and a broad range of industrial sort of applications. And you see there some fairly blue chip customers that we deal with. A couple that are not there are Netflix. And we are currently just starting out on the Lower Thames crossing as another big construction site. Next slide. Yeah, so to get back to, you know, HyMarnham, as I say, HyMarnham is a place. It was a coal-fired power station. It opened in 1959. It was the first gigawatt coal-fired power station in Europe. The land that is owned by HyMarnham Power Limited is within the red boundary that you see there. And the only part that we can't touch is the part that's in blue, which is the high voltage substation, which has got a gigawatt connection. Next slide. This is just to show you on the map of England where it is. So it's near Newark in Nottinghamshire, as I say. And then the next picture just shows you an aerial view showing the former site of the 5 cooling towers, which are no longer there. And then the image on the right-hand side shows you at the bottom, that's what we've built on. So we've built this plant that I'm talking about today, 15 megawatt capacity, HyMarnham #1, is built on one of the cooling towers. And above that, you see HyMarnham 2, which is just a proposal. We're not currently contracted to do that, but it just gives an illustration of where we would scale up. Next slide. So possibly, yeah, a couple of things interesting on this. So first of all, there's an artist's impression. There's a better one of it on the next slide, actually. So I'm just going to give that, I'll pass over that. Bottom right, you see a real aerial photograph. That's a photograph of the plant as it is today, fully built and now being commissioned. So if we look at the photograph, just to sort of explain what's there, you've got electricity coming in at the bottom, and those things in a sort of a little semicircle, if you like, those are transformers. There are 4 transformers giving the correct voltage into the electrolyzers. And you then see 16 electrolyzers if you were to count them. That's the next bunch of things that look a bit like Lego bricks. Those are actually 40-foot containers, each one of them, and they each have a stack, as it's known. These are the actual electrolyzer units, a stack in each end, and then a control room in between the 2 stacks. So you've got 16 in total there on those concrete plinths, and they are feeding the next section, which is a little bit of storage. First of all, if you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 white above ground small containers, and then we compress the hydrogen in compressors, which is the next step. We're going from a 30 bar inside the electrolyzer, compressing down to 300 bar, and going over the walls then into those refueling bays, which you see at the top of the picture. So without being able to point at a photograph, I hope you sort of got the idea of that. The photograph above is of tube trailers, so each one of those is holding about 30 kilograms of hydrogen. And at the bottom left, you see a picture of an electrolyzer with its door open. That's one of the 40-foot containers there, yeah. Next slide. So I won't dwell on this. This is just, again, a slightly bigger image of that of that 3D render of what we were going to build. But as I say, now it is built. Next slide. A couple of photographs of the construction site. So we have a porta cabin, and the first photograph at the top is taken from the porta cabin where everyone was working from, so towards the River Trent. And then the second photograph at the bottom is in reverse of that. So this was in April 2025, just as equipment was beginning to be brought to the site. So what is that, about 10 months ago, something like that. So early stages of construction. Next slide. We do have a time lapse, but we've yet to actually put it all together. And here's a real photograph. Again, I don't know exactly when this was, but it's much more recent. So you see a bit of flooding in the bottom left. But yeah, that's the site as it looks today, sort of fully built and commissioned and ready to go. Next slide. Yeah, this again these are the refueling bays, filled each, with a tube trailer in each one, just to sort of illustrate the 8 refilling bays, and what they would look like if the tube trailers were all being filled simultaneously. Next slide. This is just a shot of people commissioning the units, the electrolyzers, and it gives you an idea of the hydrogen, the infrastructure that's between them. So the gas is passing on that pipe work that's up quite high, and anything electrical is down in the ground. Next slide. Again, just a couple of shots, really. Yeah, just showing the filling bay pipe work So this is just taking the pipework across the bays and over into the refueling stations. Next slide. And again, this another couple of construction sites really of photos. This is the safety system and the control system in the green hut. Next slide. And there is the team assembled in January, passing the final LCCC performance tests, tired but happy, as it says. So an enormous effort by them all the way through December and January to finally get the project signed off. And the last slide, I think. Yeah, so and obviously, you know, how have we done it? So again, to go back through our story a little bit, we found ourselves, you know, just to go back, you know, GeoPura, the whole our business model is to do hydrogen power units and therefore to buy other people's green hydrogen. Other people weren't making green hydrogen, so we had to make our own. So that made us really pivot our business model, which is why we had to do or part of why we had to do the convertible loan note. So we did a Series A financing for 36 million. We did a convertible loan note to ask our shareholders fundamentally to back the building of the plant, which they very kindly did. It is HAR1 supported, which, as I say, gives us a small grant which goes towards the building of the plant. So that was great. And then at the bottom there, so you see in September 25, we have a buyer's credit facility supporting the site, which comes from IFO, which or the guarantee for which comes from IFO, which is the Danish ECA, and the actual finance itself was provided by Barclays. So it is a fully project financed plant, and it's the first HAR1 plant to be built. In fact, I'm not really aware of whether any other HAR1 plant has even put a spade in the ground, but we have done it and we are finished and we are producing hydrogen at full capacity right now. And I think that is the end of the presentation.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alistair. It's really great to see that some of these projects are actually happening right now and all the work that's going on in the ground. So thank you for sharing. And particularly interesting to see all the high profile customers there as well. That's really insightful to see that just, you know, the level of interest in some of these initiatives. Again, I can't see any immediate questions in the chat. I don't know if anyone had any questions on the call. Feel free to pop your hand up. Sean, go ahead.
I would imagine a lot of people are thinking it. I'll ask it first. How does it compare in terms of the unit electricity price at the end to the normal generator, the diesel generator costs?
To diesel generator costs. We would, well, I mean, it will be, this initiative will take the price of green hydrogen below the cost of diesel. And the reason that it will do that is that the whole HAR government scheme is aimed at equaling the price of natural gas. So because natural gas is cheaper than diesel by a long, to a great degree, perhaps 5 times, something like that, you're certainly going to beat the price of diesel. It's a little bit of a complicated issue because of the way the government has handed the grants out. So not all HAR projects are subsidized in exactly the same way, and not all of the equipment in the plant is covered by the scheme. So you're not fully compensated. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to see how it goes. But I think providing this will take people below the price of diesel. But let me answer your question in a negative way. I mean, if you were to hire a hydrogen power unit from GeoPura and took it on Monday, let's say, we would charge you £16 a kilogram for that hydrogen typically. and the equivalent price of diesel is about the energy content is around £9 per kilogram of hydrogen, if I'm making sense there. I didn't say that very clearly, but so we are currently selling at £16, and £9 would be roughly diesel equivalent. But the whole HAR world is going to transform that and take us down below the £9.
Yeah, but I mean, that is interesting. I mean, it was an area that we have a lot of events, and so and there are a lot of diesel generator suppliers based in my patch that support those events, and so that's it is an area that I'm sort of fairly familiar with. So, and I can see all the added benefits, not only in terms of the pollution benefits, but the sort of noise and everything else. It's yeah, I can see quite a significant market for that on that basis.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Well, give it a call and we'll happily
yeah, that's good to know. Thank you.
happily do we. Yeah.
Great. Thanks both. I'm going to just move on now. If we have any other questions, we will have hopefully a Q&A function at the end to cover any more general questions. But for now, I'll move on to Elle Brooks from Wales and West Utilities to talk about the Hydrogen Homes project.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael. Hopefully you can all hear me. Ready to move on to the next slide. Lovely. So good afternoon all. Just wanted to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to present today. It's really exciting and I can't wait to share with you all kind of what I've been up to at Wales and West and about the project itself. So my name is Elle Brooks. I am the site manager for Cartrefi Hydrogen Homes. Today I'll be walking you through the UK's first hydrogen retrofitted home, why we built it, how we ensured the safety and the value that it brings to Wales. Now this is a practical real-world demonstrator. It's not a concept and it's already given us some valuable evidence. So if we can move on to the next slide, I think you can skip it again. There we are, perfect. So the goal of the project is to essentially take a normal home and fully convert it to run on 100% hydrogen. It will also help to demystify hydrogen, not only for the public, but policymakers and industry. So the UK has approximately 26.4 million homes relying mostly on fossil fuel for heating. And the Cartrefi Hydrogen Homes demonstrator really explores whether hydrogen could be a low carbon alternative, and we say with minimal disruption to existing homes. So the house has been fully retrofitted and contains appliances that operate entirely on hydrogen. And the aim is to understand the retrofit practicality, the cost impacts, and I'm all about that customer experience as well and taking customers on that journey. And you might hear me say it more than once during the presentation, but we're really holding on to the title of it being a UK first. So this is actually the first hydrogen home in Wales, but it's also the first retrofitted property in the UK with hydrogen appliances. And it's something that we're really proud of. And if you fancy coming for a tour, you'll hear me shout about it a lot as well. Next slide, please. So the project is a collaborative effort between the CODI group, Wales and West Utilities, but with support from British Gas, IGEM and Kiwa. For those of you that don't know who the CODI group are, they are a social landlord in South Wales, and they are the ones that own the property that we have got the hydrogen demonstrator at. So the project was funded via Welsh Government's Optimise Retrofit Programme, ORP 2.2, as a test and learn project. Now, each partner contributes to either the installation, the safety, the governance, appliance testing, and community engagement as well. Now, the house that was selected is a really good example of typical housing stock in Wales and the rest of the UK. It's a home that was hard to decarbonise due to its age and fabric of the house. And you can see I've managed to put some photos in there as well, just to kind of give you an idea of what the home looks like. But yeah, the age, the fabric of the home, also lack of space. So if we're talking about low carbon technologies, lack of space in a home like this, or potentially homes with a high heat demand. So basically it is perfect for demonstrating practical retrofit challenges, as well as hydrogen safety systems and how hydrogen appliances behave in real homes as well. Next slide. I think again we can skip over one, lovely. So you're probably thinking, that sounds great, where is it? So the property is located in a place called Six Bells in South Wales. So you can see it on the map there. You kind of got Newport, which is kind of cut off. It's the valley up from Newport. As I've already mentioned, it was originally retrofitted through the Optimise retrofit programme, meaning it was already on its decarbonisation pathway. However, we did see a real opportunity to use it as a testbed for hydrogen appliance retrofit. And this is why we asked Welsh Government for a little bit extra funding, not only to do the fabric retrofit on the property, but also to put the hydrogen appliances in as well. I'll touch on it again in a few slides' time, but a full safety case was developed and reviewed by the HSE, which we believe added a strong regulatory assurance for the project as well. Next slide. Thank you. So I'll now kind of take you through the key stages of commissioning, a very shortened version of this because I didn't want to bore everybody to death. But this is the part of the project where safety, process validation, engineering discipline mattered the most to us. So as you can already see, I've mentioned it a million times, retrofit. So the property was retrofitted in line with that ORP funding. So what this meant was it had fabric improvements in order to ensure efficiency and enable a fair comparison between hydrogen heating and other low carbon systems. So for example, the property it had external installation, it had new roof ventilation, new roof tiles, doors, windows, that kind of thing. And then, like I mentioned, we had additional funding then to put the hydrogen appliances into the property. We then have the infrastructure installation. So a hydrogen above ground installation, or at Wales and West, we're known for having lots of abbreviations and things like that. HAGI for short, it is a bit of a mouthful to say over and over again. But the HAGI was installed. Now this is similar to a gas governor used on the distribution network today. The HAGI for this project is only required for demonstration purposes. We just really like to get in there that it's not a requirement for future rollouts. As this is something that we are trying to kind of tell the residents nearby, you're not going to have one of these structures in your garden. It is just for the demonstration purposes. We then had the hydrogen delivered to site in August 2025, and we get this from a green hydrogen supplier in Baglan in South Wales. So they deliver it directly to us, and that's in the form of multi-cylinder pallets, like you can see in the photos there, the red bottles. We then moved on to that commission and testing process. So we call it a post-commissioning proving period, which ran until the end of 2025. So after we had the hydrogen delivered, we commissioned the property. We just wanted to make sure everything was kind of moving along as it should, and the system was working as it should as well. This also meant that we had multiple project teams carry out visits from October onwards in order to test the system, verify the controls, and confirm the safe operating parameters as well. Next slide. So governance and sign-off process. So as I already mentioned a few slides back, a bespoke HSE safety case was developed specifically for this hydrogen demonstrator. The HSE was heavily involved throughout the build process, and this was something that we decided. So we reached out to the HSE wanting them to be involved in the project. The HSE review then concluded in April 2025, confirming the robustness of the approach, and then Wales and West Utilities signed the site off as an operational gas asset in the summer of 2025. The project also has also driven the development of new standards and procedures, which you can see in the bottom left. So those kind of 6 repeated photos are different policies and procedures that we have got for the project. But we hope that these standards and procedures will help to inform future hydrogen trials and potentially policy decisions as well. Next slide, please. Thank you. So site safety. So the site features a newly installed hydrogen supply, which you can see from the photos a few slides back. We've also got hydrogen sensors placed throughout the home. So the hydrogen that we have got is not odorized. So we've got a sensor in every single room, essentially acting as if it was our nose, if there was ever a gas leak. All visits are also controlled by a dedicated competent individual, which is myself. So being the site manager, my job is basically to facilitate bookings to the hydrogen home and also to do the tours as well. Now, we also have 24-hour site security as well as daily property and equipment checks. But we again like to say, although we conduct these daily checks and 24-hour monitoring, this is only for the demonstration. It's obviously not a requirement for real homes. And then training and competence. Wales and OS engineers have been formally trained to work with hydrogen, so understanding the differences of working with natural gas and hydrogen. And we've, well, I've actually got a dedicated engineer that supports with daily checks and as well as purge and relight operations as well. Now, we also have hydrogen equipment that's used to support the project, similar to that that detects natural gas today. So in the form of a Gasco seeker, which detects gas leaks. Again, our daily checks involve just going from the Haggy all the way to the house, making sure that the system's not leaking. And like already mentioned, it's similar to what the gas engineers use today, and we think this is really important to help with future industry adoption as well. So everything that we're using on the project is what the engineers are already used to. It's not new equipment that they have to kind of learn. Next slide. A bit about comms then. So approximately 200 visitors have toured the home so far. Now, these are a mix of internal project team, engineers, we've had local authorities, as well as obviously external stakeholders. And the key feedback themes that we've kind of seen so far is that confidence increases when people see hydrogen operating safely, as well as visitors valuing the transparency around the safety, the commissioning and the controls of the home. And we also believe that many leave with a much clearer understanding of hydrogen's role in potential future decarbonisation. And as you can see there, I've kind of put a lovely snippet of this dashboard that we've got, and it's something that I love and love to share about as well. So all of the feedback that we get from visits goes into this dashboard, and it's just a really good way of us being able to understand what visitor feedback is, what they think of hydrogen potentially for home heating and cooking. And my favourite bit is the little map on the bottom right corner. So as these visit numbers kind of increase, you can kind of see the dots on the map should get bigger. So we've obviously had a lot of interest in South Wales, being the location of where the home is. But it's really nice to see that we've had some visitors already from Scotland, from the east of England, also southwest of England as well. So we're getting a real mix of different visitors to the home. Next slide. Perfect. I think I'm probably going through this really, really quick, so apologies everyone. But what's next for Cartrefi then? So we'll continue with community engagement throughout 2026. We'll extend invitations for visits across the UK. So like I mentioned in a few slides before, we've got this prove-in period that we had from October until the new year, and then we actually opened to members of the public from January. So it's only been open for the past 2 months. So if anybody is interested in a visit, you are more than welcome to come and have a little look what we've got going on. So yeah, really trying to push those invitations across the UK as we're really trying to showcase the first hydrogen retrofitted home. We'll also work with NESO to demonstrate the strategic system value of hydrogen in heat decarbonisation. And we've got planned visits for the First Minister, the Cabinet Secretary, DESNES, Ofgem, all those kind of people. And we've got some big thinking, so we love to try and push ourselves as much as we can. But letters have actually gone out to the royal family, so we've invited the Prince and Princess of Wales to come and have a look. They went out a few weeks ago, so fingers crossed we can get them to come and have a little look too. And then finally, we'll continue to collect structured feedback from all visitors, as we believe this will probably, hopefully, inform future policy and heating decisions as well. Now, the trial is, I mentioned it in the breakout room to the people I was on with, but it's a 12-month unoccupied trial, so nobody lives in the property while we've got it. But unfortunately, it does mean that it has to come to an end at some point, so it'll probably end towards the end of the year. So if you would like to come and have a little look, then please do, and get in before the new year comes around again. And then I think my last slide is just any questions and to say thank you. If you would like to visit, I've popped the email address on there. Just have to email us and we'll get back to you, and hopefully we can get a time slot in and get you to come and have a little look at it.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Elle. Really interesting stuff going on there. As I said, we'll be sending over the slides and recording afterwards. So if you didn't quite catch this email, then and you want to get in touch with the team and with Elle and the team, then obviously the email will be sent out afterwards in the slide deck. Alistair, you had a quick question?
Just very quickly, I just wondered what happens to the house at the end of the trial. Does it convert back, or do you try to sell it or have occupants?
Yeah, so I probably should have went into a little bit more detail, but it's owned by a social landlord. It was a void property, hence why we managed to get our hands on it. So essentially, after the project finishes, it will go back to Coddy. They'll take all the hydrogen out of it. We've kept the old service in, albeit that it's capped at the road. So natural gas will go back into it, and it'll be rented back out to somebody again.
Thank you.
Amazing, thanks, Hel. Sorry, Anish, did you want to come in? I think you had turned your mic off.
That was by accident.
Oh, sorry. No, that's no worries.
I was done a much better job at answering any of these questions. This is her baby.
Great. Yes. Did anyone else have any questions for Elle or any of our other panelists today? Because we've just come to the end of our presentation, so we've got a bit of time for any more general questions or any of the specific questions for our presenters today. None at all. Okay, great. Well, as I said, this isn't your only chance to answer questions. Please do make sure to get in touch if you do have any further questions. I did have a wrap-up slide here somewhere, but that seems to have gone missing. So please do get in touch through the email that this meeting was sent from, hydrogen.valley@talent.com. We'll do our best to either answer the questions ourselves or redirect them to any of our presenters. And in general, I think the only thing I've left to say is a big thank you to all of our presenters today, Mark at Keele University, Alistair at GeoPura, and Elle at Wales and West Utilities. Really appreciate you guys coming on today to speak to our consortium members. And we will give everyone about 6 minutes of their time back. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thanks all. Bye.